All right, Supervisors Zimmer and Falkowski, could you please mark yourselves present? Can you mark yourselves present, please? Thank you. Okay, I think that's everybody who's here. Okay, I will call the October meeting of the Manitowoc County Board to order. We will start with invocation by Supervisor Hanson, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening. It's good to recognize how different we are. Our talents, our dreams, our backgrounds, our occupations. It's good to know that when we were created, the mold was broke for each and every one of us. No one is exactly alike. Your fingerprint, your voice track tells us how unique you are. But we are all here, supervisors, the executive, other elected officials, employees, and the public, to make a difference in this community. We have the same purpose, but in our differences, we don't think the same thoughts. We never will. But we can learn to listen, discuss, and compromise to make this a better place to live. In our deliberations, let us ask the questions. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will they build goodwill and make us a better community? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? We won't agree on all things, but through discussion, listening, compromise, we will demonstrate the promise of this nation to ourselves and the citizens of this county. Blessings to you. United States of America.
Thank you, Supervisor Hanson. Roll call is going around. We have 21 members present. You can see the planning and park petitions on the agenda. Our first item up for business is the public hearing on the 2025 Marsh, second by Supervisor Engelbrecht, and the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the consent agenda.
And the consent agenda is approved. That'll take us to our committee reports. First is Aging and Disability Board. Supervisor Shimalunas is reporting. Supervisor Hacker, do you have a report? No. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. She emailed in advance saying that she had no report. Sorry to put you on the spot. All right, next up is Board of Health. Supervisor Metzger. Is that October 10th or November 10th?
November 14th.
Thank you. All right, Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, Supervisor Falkowski.
No report. The next scheduled meeting is November 6th.
Thank you. I have nothing for the Executive Committee. That will take us to the Expo Ice Center Board. Supervisor Benke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We met earlier in the month It's a busy time of year. Somebody would think because of the fair just being over not too long ago that it would be kind of a quiet time, but it really isn't. The Finance Committee met. We talked about merchant gate parking fees, camping rates, the fair budget, and also talking in setting up a new contract with our ride vendor, which is coming up, and that is being negotiated as well. The Entertainment Committee is talking, we're having the Seal Lion Show back this year, talking about grandstand shows, fireworks, cream puff eating contest. The Marketing and Advertising Committee is talking about social media, themes and colors for next year's fair. Operations, the Egg Adventure Tent, we've met in that group to talk about what worked, what didn't work, and already planning for next year's fair. The brew competition, parking, Market Animal Committee, the update from them. So there's a lot going on when it comes to the fair and getting ready for next year's fair. So they're busy already, and they will keep at it, getting ready for next year. That concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Next, we have the Finance Committee, Supervisor Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met second Tuesday, finance meeting, discussed the budget. We are still operating under the old budget system. We have a draft of a new procedure that we may or may not adopt, and we will bring that to you when that happens. But in those discussions at the meeting the other night, I did send out an email to all the department heads asking if they had any input on the current budget, any changes they would like to see made. I have gotten no changes other than thank yous from department heads for the budget process. But we will meet the 11th of November at 4:30 at the Communication Building. If anybody has anything they would like to bring and change, they still have some time to put that together and think about it. That does leave us with a little bit of an issue if the committee would come forward with something and there would be a change to the budget and the executive would veto it, and we would have to see if we would override that veto. But we'll cross that bridge when that happens. If we need a county board meeting because of that situation, we'll set one up. But this will keep us on our timeline. If the budget wouldn't get done on the 12th, which is our next county board meeting, we have a few days to still get it done. So, if you know of concerns, and there are a few that we're already discussing that have come from a few department heads, elected people, have them bring them to that meeting on the 11th again of November. We will discuss it and decide whether or not if that will come into the budget that we will forward to you on the county board. So, any questions? Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you. Next, we have the Highway Committee, Supervisor Benke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did not meet in October. We are meeting on November 12th. I talked to Commissioner Grodiget today, and they are finishing up some projects. Just about all the projects for county finished, working on Carson's Lake project out there, and also some state projects on I-43, which we set up all the barrels this morning and then had to take them all down because of the political people running through our state. And I'm not trying to be biased one way or the other, but I hope this thing gets done and we can get our work done on the highway. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Supervisor Hanson, I see you put in a request to speak. Would you like to speak, or is that unintentional? Oh. Thank you. Human Services Board, Supervisor Bry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No report at this time.
Thank you. Land Conservation Committee, UW Extension, Education, and Agriculture Committee, Supervisor Engelbrecht. Do you have a report?
Not really. I didn't realize I was have to give one. We did meet a couple 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, or last week, We did do something on the land conservation for one farm that was expanding. And then we also met with the UW Extension with Food Wise, I believe it was, and then also went through their budget. So that's all I have at this time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Personnel Committee, Supervisor Marsh.
Thank you. I have no report, just to say that our next meeting is December 3rd at 4:30. No November meeting.
Thank you. Planning and Park Commission, Supervisor Falkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Planning and Park Commission met on September 23rd. On the docket, it includes 3 rezone requests. Also, we had variance requests, and lastly, ordinance violations for consideration to be submitted to the Corporate Council for implementation. The Commission started each of the rezone hearings for Frederick, Risa, Van Cirk, the town of Manitowoc Rapids, Marion, Elena Crystal from the town of Racklin, Myron and Kathleen Hickman from the town of Liberty. Each of the hearing applicants were present or had their representees available for testimony. All the requests were examined under rezone criteria plus testimony and documents of support for each applicant. We discussed them and approved them for county board's consideration, which you did tonight. Then the commission proceeded on to a variance request with Sandra Wilkie Luce from the town of Sedgwick for approval. And lastly, discussion and possible referral of ordinance violations to Corporate Council for Van Kampen of town of Sedgwick and Marks of the town of Kossuth. After testimony from all parties and the local town officials plus zoning administrators stating their positions, the commission voted to refer these on to Corporate Council for implementation of action. This was the end of our hearings. We concluded another commission meeting just a few hours ago, but our next commission date is scheduled for Monday, December 2nd. The advisory committee starts at 3:30 and the hearing starts at 4. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is the end of my report.
All right, if you'd like to continue for the Public Safety Committee update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Public Safety Committee met on October 9th. No questions about the current budget reports from the committee members. Noting that there was a 2025 budget being reviewed, there was some informal discussions about the process. With County Executive present, a member had questions about noting that the sheriff's body camera requests were not in the budget. It was during the budget discussions held with the sheriff, it was determined that the cameras could be implemented during another budget cycle. The sheriff commented on how the delay will reflect cost. The sheriff also noted that the 2024 budget will include an overrun of approximately $500,000 for a variety of reasons. The last question was about interpreter expense at the jail. There was no public comment registered that day. With consideration, an opportunity for departments optionally to express their budget requests was set for October 29th. Next, the concluded public outreach programs regarding the common scams and frauds targeting seniors was well received and attended. Every week there are stories about scams and frauds in our area. Any residual snack from the event was donated to the ADRC Meals Kitchen. Our scheduled reporting was Register of Probate Commissioner Kappa reported regarding her office and the succession of the deputy position. It has an effect to the budget in some ways, but personnel cost aspect seems to be balancing out. Limited term employees will continue to be used to finish the scanning work. Collections are falling behind, so the office is working on that as a current project. Next, we introduced Family Court Commissioner LaFleur, who gave a report regarding his office. Divorces and weddings both seem to be on the increase this year. Noted his budget sees little changes except in the area of salaries. This includes the increase for the court reporter's compensation. This is the first increase in 3 years. Currently, the support from the child support monies come to cover 70% of his budget. We thank the department directors for their partnership in maintaining the county services they provide. We have a singular special meeting to offer an optional opportunity for the public safety departments to present contrasting fiscal impressions regarding their budget requests. It will be on October 29th at 5 p.m. in the C&T building. Our next meeting is scheduled November 13th at 5 p.m. at the C&T building with Sheriff Hartwork. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That ends my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Polkowski. Next, we have the Public Works Committee, Supervisor Sikowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Public Works Committee met on Wednesday, October 9th. The county executive attended the meeting and reported on the 2025 Public Works Department budget, and we reviewed the proposed 2025 capital projects in all divisions of the department. The county has a comprehensive ongoing 10-year capital project plan that keeps our buildings and building systems current, and that plan is included in the annual budget book for everyone's review. In the Solid Waste and Recycling Division, Recycling Center Manager John Rauschenbrecher presented on the state of the current markets for recyclables and the revenues received to date for them, as well as the volumes of recyclables processed at the recycling center so far this year. We discussed the compost sites and the increasing volumes of materials being delivered to them and how they are processed. We also passed the motion supporting the proclamation for American Recyclers Day, which is on November 15th, with the proclamation coming before the county board at our November 12th meeting. In the Buildings and Grounds Division, we were updated on the status of the 2024 capital projects. We received the report and the construction schedule for the courthouse windows replacement and HVAC systems upgrade project, noting that work has begun and is progressing on schedule. And we approved the pay request from Hammond Construction for the courthouse project. In the Communications Division, we were updated on the status of the 2024 capital projects for the public safety radio system, as well as data wiring and other work that was happening to support the movement of employees in the courthouse, as construction schedule will move them to different areas of the building during the various phases of the project. In the IT Division, we were updated on the status of active projects, noting that the Branch Fire Department and Cleveland Police Department will be joining onto the police and fire software platform that the county IT department manages, and that the IT staff is consistently closing out 400 to 500 tickets for services every month, in addition to the normal everyday systems of software administration. And we also reviewed the latest cybersecurity report. In the Expo Division, we reviewed the October calendar events and the monthly financial report. And we recommended the reappointment of 8 Expo board members for another 3-year term. The next meeting of the Public Works Committee will be held on Wednesday, November 13th, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Last, we have the Transportation Coordinating Committee, Supervisor Hacker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Transportation Coordinating Committee met October 23rd to review third quarter 2024 progress and results. Grant proposals for 2024 have been approved, and we've been awarded one of the 2 replacement buses we requested for 2024. We continue to wait for the bus awarded in 2023 and expect its delivery any day. Ridership continues to rise, with one-way rides in the first 3 quarters of 2024 up 22% over the first 3 quarters of 2023. We've added 4 new volunteer drivers in quarter 3, which brings our staff now to 17 drivers. Our 2025 through 2028 coordinated public transit Human Services Transportation Plan has been completed and submitted to the state. Corporation Council recommends the plan also be adopted by the Board of Supervisors and incorporated into the Manitowoc County 20-year comprehensive plan. And the resolution 2024/2025-51 has been prepared for that purpose. And that concludes my report, unless there are questions regarding the resolution. Then I would move that we adopt Resolution 2024-2025-51 and incorporate it into the Manitowoc County 20-year comprehensive plan.
Motion is that second, Supervisor Bry? Second by Supervisor Bry. Any further discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution adopting 2025-2028 Manitowoc County Coordinated Public Transit Human Services Transportation Plan.
And the resolution is adopted. Okay, that concludes our business. I just have a couple of announcements. First is that our next county board meeting will be on Tuesday, November 12th. That will be the meeting at which we discuss the 2025 proposed budget. And then Supervisor Hanson was talking about how if something unforeseen would happen with the budget, that would leave us with only a couple of days before the state deadline. So I've decided to schedule a tentative county board meeting on November 14th. That's Thursday of that week at 6 p.m. And we would only use that if there would be some reason that we would need to reconvene to discuss the budget. That allows us to comply with open meeting laws, and we need a 24-hour notice to post the agenda and